your music, it comes with a dictatorship. So I might tell you, look, man, I'm gonna give you this contract and I'm gonna give you $100,000. But what comes with it is you gotta make this type of music, you gotta dress this type of way. Now what happens if you already spend the money, but yet you don't wanna do what they say that you have to do? That's how you get some of these artists that start sacrificing their art. You see some artists that you may like, and then the next year you be like, this album was terrible. Why did they put this out? This is not even nothing that I'm used to listening to. Because they may have spent that advance money, and you got people behind those desks telling them what they need to do. And oftentimes the people that's telling you what you need to do are completely out of the culture.
Welcome to BOSSCODETV. I'm sitting here with Boss Code model Maddii. What's up, Maddii?
Hey.
We're sitting here with Cyrus.
How you feeling?
How you doing today, man?
I cannot complain. I'm happy to be here, bro.
Happy to be here. What brings you in town?
Well, what brought me into town was a few different things. I have multiple events. One, I did an event in Cleveland. Spoke at the schools. I just spoke today at Lincoln Theater.
Okay.
500 kids. And I got a speaking event tomorrow that sold out at Massillon Rec Center.
Which I'll be at.
Yes, sir. So that's what brought me into town. And I wish it wasn't snowing, and I wish it wasn't so cold, because I'm leaving Los Angeles, and it's warm there. So
you used to that Cali life, huh?
Oh my God! Yeah, I'm not.
Tell us about the speaking event you just came from today.
Well, the main thing I focus on is intellectual independence, like why we think, how we think, and how we can change it.
Okay.
So I put that on display at this event, and today it was about the theme was called True Grit. The things that you've been through in your life and how did you overcome it. So I told a deep story about what made me transition to Los Angeles in the first place, what music was doing for me, growing up seeing my mother on drugs, father selling drugs, uncle getting, guns held to our heads and all those different types of things. So I started breaking out them stories on, although I came from this environment, although it was a lot of hardships, it didn't make me who I am to a degree of I have to do negative too. Right. So that was the essence of me speaking at the event today.
As far as the transition from music to speaker, because I mean, this isn't just new that you're doing a lot of stuff. I mean, when you're doing the music, you're always ahead of most people. You know what I mean? Doing all the shows and setting up the shows, you get your merchandise, and you got the business aspect of it. How does what you did with music translate to what you're doing now, or if it does it?
Well, it does on the behalf of the preparation. Like, music, when you start throwing shows, you got timelines, you got professionalism, you got to figure out the way to distinguish yourself from everyone else.
Right.
And the same thing goes with public speaking. Everybody does public speaking, but the thing about public speaking is it has a lower barrier of entry. All you need is a story, and then everybody claims that their story can change the world.
Right.
So it's a little bit different, but how I distinguish myself, I learned it through doing music, like getting on tours. And with tours, I used to hang my posters up, hang up a lot of posters, and I deliberately hang up one upside down on stage because I know how the brain works. Somebody is like, now what idiot is gonna hang their poster upside down?
But they're gonna remember that poster.
Yeah, but they remember it because they keep wanting to fix it in their mind.
Right.
Like, can somebody please, fix that poster?
Right.
But I did that deliberately. But those different types of things I've learned doing music. Then I started understanding when you can do music, whether it's 10 people in the crowd or 5 people in the crowd or 200 people in the crowd, you're still going to do the absolute best you can.
Right.
I started learning that. So a lot of things that I learned doing music has translated into public speaking.
Okay.
Only thing with music that's different from public speaking is when I was doing music, I was building the community and destroying the community at the exact same time.
Right.
When I'm doing public speaking, I'm only building.
Right.
I'm not doing any destruction. That's the difference.
Right. Got you. And it's probably a big difference between speaking and music, because when you're on stage in music, you want people to get live. But when you're speaking, it's a more silent crowd. So it's like two different things going on.
Yeah, oftentimes, like today, they always tell children, put away your cell phones.
Right.
Listen, I'm like, you can keep your cell phones
out.
out.
Right.
You can Snapchat, you can Instagram, you can do whatever you want.
Right.
I really don't care, because I know I cannot.
And it's more publicity for you.
That too, but I know I can't reach everybody.
Right.
I'm not trying to reach absolutely everybody. That's not the mission. Like, I seen a Muhammad Ali interview where this was in like 1960s. And they were asking him why he was answering questions a certain way. Like, why are you so hype answering these questions? He's like, I'm not answering them for y'all. I'm answering this for the people that's going to watch it 50 years from now.
Right.
Which means he completely disregarded the crowd.
Right.
You know what I mean?
That's
so
deep.
I look at it that way. I'm going to go as hard as I can, and those who are willing to pick it up will, and those who are not won't. But you never know whose life you're going to affect. As long as you can just go your best, try your hardest, and whoever picks it up is cool. So I'm cool with kids texting. I'm cool with all that. I just do want you to be quiet because that's a distraction.
Right.
But do whatever you please. Whoever will pick up the message will, and they'll come and talk to me afterwards about life. It's kids that write me emails. It's kids that take the pictures. It's kids that say, I want to be something like you when they grow up and overcome these things. So
Right.
I know those are who I reach.
That's cool, man. That's real cool. So as far as your event tomorrow, what's that going to be mostly about?
Tomorrow is going to be the deepest deepest speech I've ever given.
Really? Okay.
Because it's going to be my event. Because usually I'm on somebody else booking me.
Right.
But tomorrow is going to be my event, and I'm going to speak for over an hour for all the things I learned from the transition to Ohio to Atlanta, Atlanta to Los Angeles. I mean, it's just simple stuff like there's a lot of doctors out here that's on cocaine.
Right.
But you wouldn't know they know the proper vitamins to take. So, the cocaine won't show up in the system. I mean, just that.
Right.
And how some of the millionaires manipulate the system as far as housing, how they get LLCs and bankrupt them and get
Right.
loans. Oftentimes you even see, if you see somebody with a lot of money, chances are their credit is terrible.
Right.
You work at a place where you can run people's credit, and you see the people that got a lot of money got horrible credit because their business is worth something.
Right.
Them personally is worth nothing.
Right.
But I'm talking about all these different things. How I've been invited to whether it's Jamie Foxx's house, to Denzel Washington, conversations with him, and all. I'm telling all the information.
How'd that conversation go?
Which one?
With Denzel.
Man, he's a deep guy. Like but Denzel is a very deep guy. It's more or less like everything he talks about, it's like it already happened. Like,
Right.
that form of confidence.
Right.
It's
Right.
like, so you think the movie is going to go good? Think. The movie did do well. But
Right.
he's talking about a movie coming out next year.
Right.
So it's already confirmed in his
Right.
mind. So
Manifesting that positive energy.
yeah, but he only operates in that. Like
Right.
no thinks, no maybes, no I might, no I thought that might be.
Right.
Nothing is either I know or I don't know. And I operate completely like
I think that's a huge thing about successful people that most people don't realize. They stay in that positive bubble.
Yeah,
You know?
You stay in a definite form. Like, just because it hasn't materialized doesn't mean it didn't happen in my head already.
Right.
Even as a young woman, you might say, I'm gonna get a nice husband when I get older. I'm gonna do this, and you start to materialize it. You start thinking, well, what type of person do I need to be to attract the husband that I want?
Right.
And how do I have that?
Right.
Or in music, I'm trying to make it to this level. How do I get there?
Right.
Then you create your magazine. You create all these different
Right.
outlets to help people. So you have it in your head, and as you keep thinking about it, you start seeing things come into place.
Right.
But with those, not only just Denzel and Jamie Foxx, Dick Gregory, they all have this
Right.
different form of confidence that if you are insecure, you're going to call them cocky.
Man, I seen Floyd Mayweather say once. Some people don't like him because they say he's called cocky, like you just said. But he said the thought of losing never even crosses his mind. Like,
No,
he never thinks about, well, what happens if I lose? He knows he's going to win.
Let me tell you how backwards it is. Like him and Pacquiao had to fight.
Right.
And they were calling Floyd Mayweather arrogant.
Right.
When Manny Pacquiao was the arrogant one. And let me tell you how. Arrogance is talking confidently about doing something that you haven't done before.
Right. Right.
Manny Pacquiao is saying, I'm going to knock Floyd Mayweather out.
Right.
Nobody has ever done it in the history of boxing. Nobody has ever beat him in the history of boxing. And Floyd Mayweather is saying, based on my past fights, I believe I'm going to win.
Right. Because I've never lost.
But I'm flashing money in the meantime. So they're like, he's the arrogant one.
Right.
I'm like, see, the perception of it takes people away from the reality of it. One person is really more humble than the other.
Right.
It's just this person is soft-spoken and this person will throw 100 grand.
Right.
So, I understand it, but, that perception thing is a little tricky.
No doubt. So, as far as, you said, how do you get people to, the kids in general, how is it hard to reach them? Is it?
No. Oftentimes, people have this perception that kids are not as smart.
Mm-hmm.
like they won't get it.
Right.
They get it. They get it all. Like when I say my mother is on crack and my father sold crack, I knew that in the 6th grade.
Right.
You know, they know it in the 6th grade as well. When I talk about a young girl that has been touched, some of them in that crowd live that.
Right.
I got touched by my uncle or whoever it may be, and they're living it currently.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm not talking above their head. I'm talking about reality in life. So I don't have to do much for them to get it. They're like, okay, just be transparent. That's it. So that's all I do is be as truthful as possible, as transparent as possible for kids to understand. And then, as I said before, some of them will pick it up, some of them will throw it away.
Right. I always feel like there should be a class in school to, you know, teach kids to deal with the real world. I mean, versus some of the classes that we have right now. Like they have like sort of the non-bullying program, and that's cool and everything. But I don't really feel like that really cultivates or shapes the youth. It just tells them to treat each other correctly. But there's nothing to help your mind and help you sleep well at night, help you to fight the battles that the youth fight every day.
Well, oftentimes, school is a great tool to teach you certain mannerisms.
Right.
But it's not a tool to teach you how to, one, stand on your own.
Right.
You know, it's just not structured that way. School is really structured to teach you a framework to work amongst people.
Right.
Or amongst a team. You go to college to get a degree in marketing to work for a marketing company.
Right.
You do this to work for this particular person. So that's really what the framework of education is. So when you talk about should we give them real world, you know, attributes, who's real world though?
Yeah.
You know, first and foremost, we would have to determine that. Because when I spoke to kids in Malibu, they had never been hugged by their mom or dad.
That's crazy.
Because they have a nanny, then they go to boarding school, then they go back to school. So now they don't even know who their mom and dad is.
So they have everything they need as far as physical goes, but no.
In the same household though. So
Right.
perceptionally, you'll look and say, man, he got a new Benz, they got a nice pool, they got all that, but they don't even have a relationship with their mom or dad. So the fact that they don't have this relationship, and then we go to Watts, that they idolize these kids. But some of these kids in Watts is 25 minutes away, never been to the beach. Never even escaped this block radius. So now they're dealing with the struggle and they're eating incorrectly and all those different types of stuff. So when we talk about introducing life classes, who's?
Right.
You know, and how?
Right.
So are we going to talk about respecting one another? But then that's going to start in the household.
Right.
It's just certain things. I agree with you. It's just how do you go about it? Because even one of my friends that is a dietitian, and they go talk about how we need to eat healthy in the school system. But the parents are buying the food.
Right.
So no matter how much you convince them you shouldn't eat pork, when I go home and my mom got a pepperoni pizza on the counter and I'm hungry, you better believe I'm eating that.
Right.
Point blank period. So, you know, it's definitely a few dynamics, but I agree with you. It just has to be structured a certain way, and then it has to make sense to a
It
school
can't be left up to the school systems either.
I mean, you don't have no choice. That's who's going to, I mean, the city's going to fund it and all and
Right.
whatnot, but it's unfortunate that it has to be that way. But
Right.
when you talk about life skills, we're not really trying to teach that. You're really trying to teach the bare minimums of quote-unquote education to be able to test, to be able to go to a higher level.
Right.
But you get kids that learn in different ways. Some kids are hands-on, some kids can sit there. Because first off, schooling comes from church, you know, sitting down for a long period of time to be able to get information. But all kids don't learn that way.
You're right, yeah. Yeah. Yeah, I was telling Madison earlier about some of the books you were writing. Tell us about your book writing process.
Well, the process, I was writing the books when I was homeless. You know, when I moved out from Atlanta to Los Angeles, I was homeless, but I knew what I was trying to do. So I was waking up every morning, like maybe 5:30 in the morning, and I would go to Panera Bread, and I sit down from 5:30 to about 10:30 and write a chapter per day. I wouldn't leave until I finished the full chapter. So after writing all these chapters, I probably got about 140 chapters.
Nice.
You know, so I got enough for another 8 books.
Right.
You know, but I put out the last book being 7 Steps to Discover Your Inner Greatness because I started looking at how kids like to learn. Straight to the point. No fabrication. The book is like 45 pages. You know, I don't put on no fluff. I get boom, 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 so they can finish it and digest it and be able to apply some of the things. Even. Definitely. But be able to apply the things within the book. You know, so that's the reason why I did it like that. But my process is frankly just being homeless and knowing this is the direction I wanted to go in life. So I just, you know, kept going.
So can we talk about your book, 7 Steps to Discover Your Inner Greatness?
Yeah, 7 Steps to Discover Your Inner Greatness. That's really a succinct workbook I created essentially for youth or anybody. But I acquired this information from working with the Boys and Girls Club for such a young age. I was able to start working with them for 14 years old. And that's when I created my first program. And I was just frankly getting my friends to help kids with their homework.
You're 14?
Yeah, at this time, 14.
Wow.
Got my friends to help 3rd graders do their homework, you know, because 2 plus 2 is 4, and I believe I can do that, and I believe my friends can do that.
Right.
So from there, I was able to work within the Boys and Girls Club, work in the gym, work in the library, work in the computer lab, work in the game room, work everything. Not only that, I was able to be inside meetings, so I got a chance to see how nonprofit works and how programming works and where funding come from, and being in a meeting with the food for Walmart and getting, you know, I got a lot of in-depth information at a young age. So now I'm 30 years old and I got 16 years of experience. That's like unheard of. So I was able to take all the information I've acquired working with so many kids for so long and create a outline to be great. Because I honestly believe, it sounds cliche, but I really believe everybody has greatness within them. I really believe
I believe
that.
it too, yeah.
But going through school or going through certain households with parents that tell you cannot do something, or you can't do this, or don't do this because I couldn't see myself doing it, or they really want to protect you, but they're trying to limit you. So oftentimes they say, well, you know, I don't want you doing that because I want you to have this type of a plan. Or they say, don't go to LA unless you got an X amount of money that you've never had before.
No, you're right.
So
now you're sitting around waiting for money that
you would never have.
Yeah.
Like, they'd be like, well, move out to LA when you get, you know, when you get 10 grand, just move out to LA, you can get a nice house, and you start looking, wait a minute, how many times have I had 10 grand in my life? You know what I mean? I'm 25, I ain't never had 10 grand. So we playing around. But I even spoke at, more to this book, I spoke at this young women thing. It was like a lot of 14, 13-year-old girls. And I was talking to them about what they want to be when they grow older. And one of the young girls is going to say, well, I know when I get 18, I'm going to have bills to pay. So I can't pursue the things I want to do anyway.
Sheesh.
I said, wow. She's talking about what bills she'll have to pay in 4 years. Now, where did that come from?
What you seen?
Yeah, and that come from that household.
Right.
So now she believes that greatness doesn't even exist within her because the bills and stuff is going to limit her as it did her parent.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? So that's the essence of the book.
I actually want to read the whole thing. I don't have time right now, but I stopped at step 5. Stop distracting yourself. What's the main?
Stop distracting yourself is about stopping ourselves from deviating from things. For example, I've been able to sit on my computer and type a chapter. Before I know it, I'll be like, you know, let me check Facebook real quick. Boom, I hit Facebook. Next thing you know, I'm on there for an hour. Next thing I know, I'm on Instagram.
Reading about politics.
Yeah, now I'm over here arguing with somebody on Instagram or arguing with somebody on Facebook or whatnot. And it's all a distraction to keep me away from the things that I'm supposed to do. Even with our phones, you know, the first thing, you know, I might wake up in the morning, roll over, and check Instagram. I ain't even said a prayer. I ain't brushed my teeth. I ain't got breakfast.
I'll check it in the middle of the night.
First thing I do, you know, not only that, you'll check it like one eye open, and you lean the screen away so it ain't too bright on that eye, you know. So that's the distraction. So I set things in place. For example, when I work on my computer, I set up 2 things. I set up a work profile, and I set up Cyrus profile. The work profile, I eliminated the internet. So every single time I want to click on it, it'll pop open, but it'll say, you know, internet is disabled. You know, I do that deliberately. Same thing with my phone. My phone is set on do not disturb mode.
Right.
So now you can
only... You have like a timer on it or something?
Yeah. I put timers on it when I know I gotta work.
Yeah, I don't have to use that.
So I said it. I said it at night. At night and in the morning, like every night after about 10 o'clock, I gotta set on do not disturb mode. Only a few people can call me.
Right.
And it's till about 8 o'clock in the morning. Only a few people can call me, and that's emergency. And they have to call me twice for it to go through.
Right.
So you have to do back-to-back calls. And they know that. But I'm setting up all these barriers because it's easy to get distracted. I can wake up in the morning, 8 o'clock in the morning. You might hit me up. What's going on? I want to talk to you about the magazine, whatever. We might shoot the breeze, but I know I need to write some chapters for my book.
Right.
I end up talking to you. We end up getting a deep conversation,
Right.
like talking about a girl or
Right.
shopping or a car.
Whatever it may
Next
be.
thing you know, it's 10:30. Now I don't feel like working out no
Right.
more.
Exactly.
My whole day is thrown
It's
off.
midday, you didn't eat
You
yet.
know, it's midday. Now I'm going to say, you know what, I'm just going to knock this out tomorrow morning.
Right.
You know, now I'm a whole day behind based on the conversation we had about nothing because
About
I
nothing.
let you hit me up in the area, in the time I was supposed to work. So
Right.
that's what that chapter is about,
I like
eliminate
that.
the distraction.
It's funny, I can relate with that a lot because I'm not gonna lie, I have trouble focusing like that sometimes. Like there'll be a book I want to read just to get more knowledge on whatever I'm doing. I want to read the book. I catch myself every 15 minutes going. So now what I do, I just put my phone in the room and walk out wherever I'm at, and, you know, get the paper or book. But yeah, I can relate with that a lot.
Definitely.
I like also the acceptance of who you will become. That one's like a pretty big one. How does that speak to you?
Well, acceptance of who you will become is the understanding of when you see yourself at a certain level. Like if I see myself as being an NBA player, or in your case, a model, professional model, or a business owner, or whatnot, you have to understand who you must become to get there. I know I can't be a procrastinator and say I want a Fortune 500 company. I know I can't skip my workouts if I got the Sports Illustrated cover. I know I have to know who I must become in order to get to where I want to be.
Right.
And I have to understand what energy I'm attracting around me. If I'm having Dez come around me and I want to be on the cover of GQ, and you saying, "Oh, bro, you can go ahead and get them tacos. You can get that burger.
Right.
Don't worry about it." Now I know I'm fighting the urge to eat these burgers. I need to get you away from me.
Right.
Because you're tempting me in a direction of the way you know I shouldn't go.
Right.
And sometimes it might be a deep-rooted jealousy within you.
Mm-hmm.
And I wouldn't know that. You know, I'm just more or less like, this my boy, I've been knowing you since the 3rd grade, but how long you know somebody don't mean nothing.
At all.
You know, but I know you since the 3rd grade, so I'm going to say, you know, Dez, you know what? Yeah, I'm going to get them tacos, and you're going to present everything good. You know, it's Taco Tuesday.
Right.
This is cheap.
Tequila
Tacos is
Tuesday.
good. Come on,
Right.
man. You've been working out. You've been working out all week. I mean, you all sliced up already, man. You can take a taco. Come on, man. You know, and the girl's going to be there. You know, I got something for you. know, all that stuff will make me deviate.
Right.
So I have to understand who I'm, want to become.
Mm-hmm.
So that's what that's about in order to get to where I'm trying to be. You know?
Okay.
That's a good point. I
Yeah,
mean, I
for
never
sure.
really thought about it like that.
Yeah, it's pretty deep. You got to get certain type of styles of people away from me. That's for sure.
Oh,
I find myself doing that more and more. I mean, the more and more I get serious about where I want to be in life, the less nonsense I want in my life. You know, because you don't need how can you sit with somebody who doesn't even understand where you're trying to be? I'm not saying sit with somebody as far as friends or family, but how can you spend your every day going out here, going to do this with people who don't understand where you want to be?
Not only that, true friends, like first off, people will fade themselves out. It's not like you have to cut them off.
Right.
But true friends will aid in the direction that you're trying to go, or get you to get in some type of direction if you don't have any.
Right.
Like, bro, what are you trying to do? Let's just do something.
Right.
You know what I mean? So, like you said, you called me about the magazine stuff.
Right.
I'm sitting there trying to aid as best as I possibly can.
Right.
You know, with this stuff, you having me come in here and speaking and creating a platform for people to get their name out there. It's some type of aid. If you're not aiding in some way, you're doing the opposite.
Absolutely.
In between, there's no in between in building and destroying. You either doing one or the other.
Either distraction or you're aiding.
No, you're building or you're destroying.
Right.
You're not doing anything in between because that's dormancy, which is destruction.
Right.
So if we're not sitting here building something, then what are we doing?
Right.
We're destroying, and you can't get time back.
No.
Time is the most valuable thing of everything. So since I know I can't get time back, and I'm sitting with somebody that's destroying, what type of foundation am I going to set for the person I'm going to bring in behind me? If I have a son, I've had a daughter, and I'm starting them off less than where I started,
Right.
you know what I mean? You can't be like that. So that's what all those different things mean in the book. A lot have deeper meaning, but yeah.
Nice.
You have 3 books, right?
Yeah.
Do they all have different? What are the names?
The first one, The Proper Mind State for a Harsh World, and that was pretty much the psychology of how you gonna deal with people. Like when you think about it like this, how do you let somebody else's emotion affect your emotion to a point that it ruins your day.
Right.
I can drive. Boom, you cut me off. Jerome, now I'm cussing at you in the car. And now I come to you to say I come into work. I'm like, I can't believe this dude cut me off. You know, this a-hole. Now I done brought the energy to you. And now it's affecting the rest of my day. Now by the time I get to lunch, you're like, Cyrus, what's going on? Yeah, that dude cut me off. I'm like, wait a minute. You still, that was 4 hours ago.
Now other people mad because you complaining.
Yeah, but that was 4 hours ago. No, you know what come to me? Oh, I got cut off too.
Right.
You know, it's this one guy that got the blue Hyundai. He always,
right.
You know, so now that energy starts happening. I say the proper mind state for a harsh world is like, how do you let so many outside forces dictate who you are?
Yeah, that's deep.
You know,
yeah.
Because they're leaving. This dude that cut you off is gone.
You're never gonna
he
see
don't
him
even know
again.
if he don't even know if he cut you off. Or what if he's racing to get to his wife in the hospital having a child?
Right.
What if he apologized in the court? Like, man, I'm really sorry I have to cut this guy off.
Yeah.
You know, but you don't know all that.
Right.
So when you think about that, how do you let somebody affect your mind state in
right.
this world? Same thing with, like, I remember going to the airport and asking the flight attendant or the desk attendant about my flight, and she just blew up. Well, go sit down on it. I said, listen, I want to apologize for whatever I did to you that may have affected the way you feel about me for asking about my flight. And you know what she did? She changed her whole attitude. Look, I'm sorry, I was just
having a rough day.
You know, it made her think about things differently because she know I did nothing to her, but I was willing to take the blame for it when I know I did nothing.
The person before
it's the mind state. Like my grandma used to tell me, smart people can play dumb. Dumb people cannot play smart.
Right.
So if you know that you're the smarter one in the situation, how do you let them affect you?
Right.
You know what I mean?
No doubt. Yeah.
So that's the way, you know, proper mind state for a harsh world. And the second book is a wise way to understand everyday problems. It's just really just looking at the things we go through day in, day out, and falling back and just looking at it from a bigger picture. That's really what it is in a nutshell. Wise way to understand everyday problems.
Nice.
Which one speaks to you more? This one or the other two?
All of them was periods of my life.
Right.
You know, but the last one, 7 Steps to Discover Your Inner Greatness, is the book that I'm going to be running with for the rest of my life. Because that is the embodiment of not only me at my lowest points, me at my highest points, me growing. And I really believe that's the best guide I can present to anybody that can assist them in moving forward. And I read a lot of books that's some bullcrap, to say the least.
Right.
Because I started finding out that a lot of self-help books isn't even written by the person that's got the title of it. They got a staff, they write the book together, and then they just slap a name on top of it. That's like when you sit back and think of it, and not dogging it, I won't say anybody, but when you think about it, you really think this person can write 60 books in 3 years? Come on, man, cut it out.
Just pumping them out.
And then he got chapters like this, and like this, and like this, and like this. And they put out 400-page books back to back to back. Come on, man. When you start talking about autobiographies, they be taking 6 years to write that.
Right.
And this person over here is pumping out 17 300-page books. Get out. It's a staff.
Right.
And all they do is let you recite it back to me, and then they be like, okay, cool, put that out there.
Right.
So it has no, it's not genuine. You know, and I'm noticing that's why all of them say the same exact message.
Right.
You know,
Over
make
and over
sure,
again.
you know, everybody can make it. Just, you know, lock in. Like, no, it ain't that simple.
Right.
I go home and this music is blasting. I go home, I don't even have food in the house, and you talking about I can just make it.
Just lock
no,
in,
there's more to it than that.
Right.
Just lock in, just separate yourself. Okay, but the library is 7 miles away, and my mom don't got a car.
Right.
There's more to it than that. Now that plays a part, but there's more to it than that.
Right. Right.
So yeah, that's the reason I got those books.
All right, man. Well, before we get out of here, tell us a little bit about A Wise Way.
A Wise Way is a company that interviews professionals and use their testimonies to inspire children.
Okay.
So we interview a doctor about how it truly is to be a doctor for the kids to know. It's not like what they see on Dr. House. It's not skateboarding and popping pills. You know what I mean? It's something real. A lawyer or a physical therapist. And the reason why I want to do this is so kids can know what direction they truly want to go in life.
Get the inside view of it.
Get the real inside scoop.
Right.
Because oftentimes a counselor needs to fulfill so many classes. So when a kid is going into a counselor and say, well, I don't know what I want to be. Okay, cool. Based on your test or based on the way you present yourself, and based on this, you might want to be a mechanic or you might want to be a rocket scientist. But then again, I need to fulfill these rocket scientist seats.
Right.
So this is the direction I'm gonna send you. Now you get so many major changes. That's why some kids pursue a certain major because they didn't know anything that they wanted to do, but a counselor put them in a direction. And they're like, I don't want to do this.
Right.
Next thing you know, they changed their major and they lost 2 years.
2-3 times, yeah.
You know what I mean? So that's the reason why I created a wise way to interview these people, so it could be an aid to the direction children may want to go.
Okay.
So inside, maybe you want to do it, maybe you don't, but
Right.
at least you can hear how the job really is. If you say I'm an outgoing person, I really love numbers, but I'm outgoing, you may not want to be an accountant. You
Right.
might be one of them guys that go on the road and, you know, be a bookkeeper for celebrities. I
Right.
don't know. I'm using this as an example. You want to change it to fit your personality.
Absolutely.
Based on the information you acquire.
Okay.
So, you know, that's the essence of a wise way.
All right. Well, it's nice to have you on the show. Tell everybody where they can reach you at, where you're going to be at tomorrow, just how they can contact you.
Well, they can contact me at cyrusharper.com. That's CYRUSHARPER.
Okay.
awiseway.com. Our Instagram is a wise way. Facebook is a wise way. That's a wise way. They can contact me on all those platforms.
Sounds good, man. Shout out to Cyrus Harper one more time. Shout out to Maddii for being on set with us.
I love him.
Look for in Boss Code Magazine, Boss Code Mottos. Go to bosscodemagazine.com to check out all of our future interviews. Shout out to Modern Image Photos. We're out. Peace.
My roof track, see a vision of the world through these highway lanes, looking for change. The dream is big, but I ain't scared of nothing. Tell me you feel me, I'm just trying to function.